Ninja Gaiden 4 was my most anticipated game for years. I'm a huge fan of this series, and earlier this year when Ninja Gaiden 2 came out, I made the master guide for Ninja Gaiden 2, and thankfully thanks to your guys' support, it was the most popular guide for Ninja Gaiden 2 outside of the IGN video, because obviously, so I figured I have to do a video for Ninja Gaiden 4. If you don't know, I'm someone who, I consider myself like a veteran of this game. I played all of the other games, beaten them on Master Ninja and Ultimate Ninja for Ninja Gaiden 3, and Ninja Gaiden 4 I feel like is a game that is starting to get a reputation that it is somewhat difficult, and hopefully after watching this video you will have much easier time going through Ninja Gaiden 4, and especially on the higher difficulties. So just like all of the other Ninja Gaiden games, the fights start with the camera. Something just never change. So the camera in Ninja Gaiden 4 work a little bit differently. While in the prior games, you had to constantly readjust the camera to reposition it to get a good idea on your surroundings and what's going on. The camera in Ninja Gaiden 4 is a little bit more pulled backward, and it's almost like it's magnetic to enemies. And if you try to reposition it, it will actually lock on to an enemy, and if you're fighting a large mob, that is just gonna be impossible. So you're gonna have to manually maneuver it all the time, because the areas you're fighting will typically be large. There are ranged enemies that will attack you from off screen, so you need to be aware of your surroundings. What I did is I went into the option settings, and there is the option to speed up how you can move the camera horizontally, and that is something that I personally did. At default it was like 85, but I felt like that was kind of slow, so I moved it up to 115, and that was perfect for me. This is something that you have to experiment with yourself, what will make you feel comfortable, so that it's not irritating, but at the same time you're able to keep up with everything around you. Maybe the default will be good for you, but I figured I have to start with this. And just like all of the other Ninja Gaiden games, enemies in Ninja Gaiden 4 are extremely aggressive, so you have to get accustomed to blocking. By holding the block button, Yakumo or Ryu, they're gonna assume a blocking stance, and you will be able to block incoming attacks. And this will also apply to ranged attacks, and this will also apply to when you're in the air. And this is a serious first, I believe. I don't think you were ever able to block mid-air in the other Ninja Gaiden games, but you can. But the thing with this game is you can block a specific number of times before you get guard broken. You will notice that you're gonna start glowing yellow and then red, and then you will get guard broken. So you can't keep blocking forever, and generally this is Ninja Gaiden, you gotta keep moving. Now Ninja Gaiden 4 starts you off extremely bare bones with barely any combat skills unlocked, and knowing which skills to unlock early can have a significant impact on how easy or hard these early chapters will be. By far the most important abilities to unlock to have a really good combat flow but also have the much easier time is unlocking ultimate guidance, unlocking landing ultimate technique, and ultimate technique final charge. Ultimate techniques are when you charge triangle. These are auto combos that will deal massive damage to your enemies, but also they have a ton of iframes allowing you to avoid a lot of incoming damage while also being able to dish out a lot of incoming damage. You wanna use them as often as possible. So the techniques we just unlocked will let us absorb essence to charge faster, it will let us cancel our landing frames from a jump to a faster charge, and unlock a more powerful ultimate technique. And this will allow you to do a lot, like you can combo someone in the air, end it with an Izuna drop, and immediately cancel the landing frames from that Izuna drop into an ultimate technique. Maybe someone is trying to attack you, and then you try to dodge and you get a perfect dodge, and now you can immediately cancel the landing frames from that perfect dodge into a charge ultimate and deal massive damage to your enemies as well. Unlocking these unlocks early on will make you significantly more powerful, because these attacks do a lot of damage. Hey there, hope you're enjoying the video. If you're liking the video so far but you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I mean, we got an amazing team going up, join the Mura's EX-Men. We even got like the Emma and Magneto combo, so you know we're gonna dominate. Excuse the silliness and enjoy the rest of the video. And since we were on the topic of perfect dodge, let's talk about the rest of the defensive abilities. And just like how you can dodge into ultimate technique to do a lot of damage, a lot of the other defensive tools can also switch a defensive situation into a powerful offensive situation. Now, there is a block that we talked about, and there is an unlock for a perfect block. You are pretty much just timing your block with the opponent's attack or the enemy attacks, and this will happen a lot, and you will get it by accident, even if you don't intend to. But you will notice that the enemies will reel backwards a little bit, where you pretty much get a free hit on them, but maybe it's like a crowded area and you really can't get a string to come out. So there are some follow-ups that are canned follow-ups that will be able to deal massive damage. I really like the Blood Raven follow-up with the dual katanas because it's a sweeping attack that will knock a lot of the enemies down, giving you more opportunities to go for combos on them, and some techniques will even like dismember opponents. Again, this is something that will just happen, so you have to pay attention to when it does, and the more you play, the more you'll be able to identify when you get the perfect block out. And aside from blocking, there are also parries in this game. And parrying are you pretty much timing your attack with the attack of the opponent, and it doesn't matter if it's light or medium. And again, just like the perfect block, this is something that sometimes will just happen and you will get the follow-up. If you're trying to do it with intent, I suggest you try to go for a light attack because they are faster and it's gonna be much easier to time it. In general, with this game, the best flow I have found is to target a weaker enemy or like a ranged enemy, knock them out, make them drop some essence, and then wait for like the big guy to go for an unblockable or like a guard breaking attack, one that you will get a perfect dodge on, charge ultimate technique, and deal massive damage to the surrounding mob, rinse and repeat. This is by far the best loop for the most aggressive play in Ninja Gaiden. And another one of the main defensive options that you have to be aware of is how to knock out the enemies out of these unblockable attacks. So one thing that you can do is to use the Blood Raven attacks, and if you use it against one of those, you will stagger the opponents and you'll be able to get massive damage on them. Now against like a big mob, this is really hard to do because of the camera and just which character Yakumo or Ryu is gonna focus on, but against bosses, this is essential. Like this is the main techniques that you wanna use against bosses. You're gonna wait until they try to go for these big attacks, hit them with your Blood Raven, and then you're gonna get like a big combo on them. That is a skill that you must be able to use, especially against bosses, because if you don't do that against bosses, they're gonna be much more challenging when you're trying to beat them. Now, sometimes you will be attacking just regular enemies and you will find them blocking a lot, right? And what do we do against enemies that are blocking? Well, there are two things you can do. The first one is to try to attack them from behind, and can be done by using the wind pass technique. You're pretty much pressing the square and X buttons and Yakumo will jump at them, and then press X again when you're over their head to jump over them and attack them from behind. That can work, or simply by using Blood Raven attacks, because Blood Raven attacks are guard breakers. Enemies can't block them, and this will allow you to knock them down, but they have a lot of startups, so you have to be careful on when you use them as well. My favorite is just using like the dual katanas, Blood Raven Light, because they're really fast and they will get the job done. And obviously one thing with these guard breaks is that when you're using the Blood Raven attacks, they'll deal massive damage, and then maybe you can get a dismemberment on an enemy, go for an obliteration technique, and these obliteration techniques will then recharge your Bloodbind gauge so that you're able to use more Blood Raven techniques, and the cycle goes on and on. Like with the rapier, is just like a couple of lights with a regular attack, confirm that the enemy is blocking, and then doing the back forward hold the heavy drill, and this is a launcher that is unblockable, so regardless of the enemies, you're gonna hit them and then launch them, go for an Izuna drop, have an essence drop nearby, absorb it, charge ultimate, rinse and repeat. That is pretty much strongest combat flow in the game right now. And one thing that is returning into this game from the prior games is obviously the Guillotine Throws, and you just press the wind buzz jump and then press the wind buzz jump again when you're near an enemy to command grab them and throw them, and if they are near a wall, they're gonna get wall splat. Now the strongest thing about this in Ninja Gaiden 4 is that you can cancel into it from a regular attack string, and remember in this game, at least with Yakumo, his shurikens, they actually stun the opponents for a long time, so you can, if you're fighting like a ranged enemies, throw shurikens at him, they will be stunned for a little bit, go for the wind buzz, Guillotine Throws, splat them on a wall, and now you're getting combos for free because they can't block at that point. Using Guillotine Throw is very important, and also you fight in arenas where there are like full bits a lot and just drops, so you can throw enemies off of the platform and just KO them instantly. It's really good, don't forget about it. And now for some tips that I find to be really useful, but maybe the game doesn't explain them that well. So you know how in this game there is the Berserk state, and when you enter the Berserk state, your Blood Raven weapons will have pretty much insta KOs, and it doesn't matter which enemy is against you, if it's a regular soldier or like a slightly mini boss. It doesn't matter, they're getting insta KO'd, and this usually is done by going for like the charged lights or heavies from these weapons, like the Blood Raven weapons. Now the issue with them is that the conditions can sometimes be hard to meet, like you have to get a fully holded drill, or with the hammer you have to perfectly time it so that you're getting the enhanced attack, or with the swords like it's a long charge. So you can use the special attacks from these weapons, the ones that you unlock in the weapons unlock, and they will give you like a much looser restrictions. Like with the hammer, you just do the R2 and then square or triangle move. I'm using the control 3, so I don't know exactly which is it on the regular, but it's when he jumps and then does either light or heavy, and it's different attacks, and you don't have to go for the release timing or whatever, you're just gonna get it. And the same for the dual katanas. The large sword, when he just hops on the sword and then bam, splash it, you're just gonna get the insta kill. It's much easier, it's much faster, it's much safer. Another tip I will gonna give you, because I noticed someone mentions this, is how sometimes Yakumo or Ryu, they're gonna go for automatic obliteration technique. Like let's say with Yakumo, you are with his dual katana and there is a string of square triangle, and this is a launcher string. But if there is a dismembered enemy close to you, instead of committing to the string, Yakumo will do the first attack and then immediately go for the obliteration technique. Now, if you wanna get the string to come out correctly, you wanna use the first attack, the square, delay a little bit and then do the triangle, and he will do the launcher. And that is pretty much about it for the gameplay flow of Ninja Gaiden 4. Obviously there is a ton to go on, there's still Yakumo, a lot of Yakumo specifics, like how to use weapons, which weapons at which time. Generally the dual katanas are the jack of all trades, the rapier is pretty much your long-ranged option, long-range melee. The staff is the best for when you are surrounded by a lot of enemies, it have wide area of effect. And the final weapon is for having like a long-range options that are powerful, right? Because it doesn't have bow and arrow, so the basic light of it having a lot of range, that is actually really, really cool. Maybe we'll do like a Ryu guide as well. Let me know if you want to see more of this. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, it helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.
Huh?